2 of the 2017 FIM Sidecar World Championship is the first two-race weekend of the series. The outfits moved to Oschersleben in Germany for the latest three-wheeled event, over a month after the season curtain raiser at the Bugatti circuit in Le Mans. New regulations with 600cc outfits and a new pecking order in 2017 were the main talking points on the opening weekend of the campaign in France. Reigning F2 World Trophy champions Ben and Tom Birchall made their first top-flight appearance since 2015 and demonstrated an immediate pace advantage. They didn't have it all their own way on the opening turns, working hard to recover the lead after dropping briefly to fourth position off the line. Holden and Wilkes made the best getaway, but after dropping behind the Birchalls, they ran wide again, enabling 2016 world champions Päivärinta and Kainalainen through to second. The number 3 outfit stayed with the Finns, but crashed heavily on lap 5, a non-scoring start to the season for them. After suffering several incidents that kept them down in 7th in the 2016 championship, the Silicon Barnes racing team would have hoped for better fortune in the new season. The British duo's crash enabled Stroyer and Russo to close on Päivärinta and Kainalainen and challenge for second. The two most recent World Championship winning outfits swapping and changing places twice before the reigning title holders claimed the position. The battle was still raging when the race was brought to a premature conclusion. A heavy crash for Bachmeier and Weschelberger, bringing out the red flags and leading to a declared result. The incident also means Manfred Weschelberger will be missing from the second round of the season in Oschersleben, his place taken by Britain's Helen Deely. Victory for Ben and Tom Birchall was their first since 2014, ironically also in Le Mans, as they fell narrowly short of a second world title. The runner-up position for Päivärinta and Kainalainen brings their run of successive podium finishes up to 10, while Stroyer and Russo in third meant the world's top 3 heading to Oschersleben are the 3 former World Championship winning outfits that line up in 2017. New regulations for 2017 with 600cc machinery has shaken up the pecking order in the championship race, with the 2 most recent title-winning outfits, Team 44 Racing and Team Stroyer, a distant second best behind Ben and Tom Birchall at the opening round in Le Mans. The British duo made the switch to a 600cc outfit back in 2015 and have reaped the rewards of their lengthy development phase, while their rivals are only now learning a new riding style, with the passenger's role particularly crucial. The 600cc bikes are very different to the 1000cc. They have a lot more cornering speed, even though they're slower in the straights. We're constantly thinking about how to change the setup, and it also affects the riding. The chair keeps lifting, and you need a completely different style, so everything has changed now. There's a lot of work ahead of us. It actually surprised me a bit how fast the 600 bike is, particularly in the corners. Now the passenger's work is much more important. I have to be there for Pekka to help him through the corners at higher speed. It's a lot harder on my body, but I'm enjoying it. We've also been having some problems with the chair lifting, particularly on the left-hand bends, but we hope that a new setup and some new parts will help us this weekend.
Fyysisesti, että se mahdollisimman hyvä on kurvista ulostulonopeus.
With passengers playing such an important role on board 600cc machinery, Team Stroyer has been hampered by the absence of Kevin Rousseau. The second round of the season coming too soon for the Frenchman after he sustained a broken arm in his homeland. And that has created a unique weekend of loyalties in Oschersleben, with first Rousseau's girlfriend Emmanuelle Clément taking over in practice, and then Stroyer's partner Ilse de Haas occupying the chair for the races themselves. De Haas, who has previously appeared as a wildcard alongside 2 different riders in her home Dutch Grand Prix, makes a rare outing alongside Stroyer as a top-flight stand-in. This is my 5th year in sidecars, 2 seasons with Hilbert Talens and 3 years with Colin Nicholson. I normally ride in the Dutch and German Championship, so this will be a special chance to race in the World Championship with Benny.
We hebben al een paar WK's samen gereden, maar dit zal de eerste WK met Benny zijn.
Team Stryer and Team 44 Racing will expect to renew their rivalry when they take to the track in Oschersleben after a race-long duel in Le Mans. But both teams have an eye not only on their own passengers, but also on Ben and Tom Birchall up ahead. The overall lap times in the 600s haven't been very much slower, and within a couple of years we'll be lapping at the same pace as we were before. The real problem is that Birchall has 1.5 years more experience than the rest of us, so I hope we can learn it quickly and make everything closer. The German round of the FIM Sidecar World Championship traditionally takes place as part of German Speed Week, which moves to an earlier point in the calendar in 2017, the sidecar race moving with it. Thankfully for the organisers, the 20th staging of the event was blessed with clear skies, encouraging over 12,000 fans to attend and creating a large crowd for the latest round of the world title race. French Grand Prix winners Ben and Tom Birchall took their second consecutive pole position, but with a smaller qualifying advantage compared to Le Mans, topping the timesheets by a nonetheless significant 1.5 second margin. Päivärinta and Kainalainen were notably quicker in qualifying in Oschersleben, putting themselves on the front row of the grid after missing out at round 1 and up in second to match their early season championship ranking. A total of 13 outfits eventually made it onto the grid for the sprint race. Rossinger and Werner missing out following a retirement on the formation lap with a mechanical problem that left oil on the circuit. With at least a second between each of the top 4 outfits in single lap pace, pecking order among the series leaders was clear before getting underway with the first of 2 races. Holden and Wilkes did well to make the front row for a second consecutive race after an oil leak had denied them any running in first qualifying and left them with just 4 completed laps ahead of the race start. A Friday of hard work for Holden and Wilkes was undone when they got off to a slow start in the sprint race, immediately conceding 2 positions that they were left to recover on the remainder of the opening lap. Ben and Tom Birchall were predictably first away ahead of Päivärinta and Kainalainen. Stryer and De Haas straight onto their tail, and the podium finishers in Le Mans were back in the top 3 places. Blackstock and Rosny had made an excellent start to the race from the 3rd row of the grid, moving through from 8th to 4th, but that place was short-lived as Holden and Wilkes started their fight back down the inside into the Haasrode hairpin against their fellow countrymen. Blackstock and Rosny were then left in the path of Grabmuller and Kirchhofer, 4th place finishers at the opening round, and looking to move back up to their starting position of 5th after an uninspiring getaway. Meanwhile, Holden and Wilkes, non-finishers at the opening round, were keen to move back into a podium position as quickly as possible and demonstrated their significant straight-line advantage over Stryer and De Haas with a comfortable pass down the back straight to restore themselves to 3rd. The opening lap had also provided plenty of action further down the order, with Gunther Bachmeier and new passenger Helen Deely's strong start proving their own downfall. The number 22 outfit collected the slow-starting Grabmuller and Kirchhofer, damaging their own wheel arch and dropping them out of contention. The pair did manage to repair the damage at the side of the circuit and rejoin the race, but finished 2 laps down at the back of the field. With the lead quartet separated by 8 seconds already, their race had settled down early, but battles further back provided a much greater share of the entertainment. Grabmuller and Kirchhofer got the better of Blackstock and Rosny to complete their recovery to 5th position. Laurie and Hughes next in line in their attempt to get back to 6th, following a strong start for their rival number 95 outfit. Laurie and Hughes spent 3 laps tussling with Blackstock and Rosny over 6th, enabling Grabmuller and Kirchhofer to escape away at the front of the trio, with the number 95 clearly slowest of the outfits from 5th position down. As at the opening round in Le Mans, where they eventually finished 5th, Laurie and Hughes were involved in several entertaining scraps in Oschersleben. An attempted outside move around the Haasrode hairpin was foiled by a calm defence from Blackstock and Rosny. A lap later in the same place, they prepared a different move, taking the shortest route around the hotel complex for maximum acceleration down the straight and switching this time to the inside into the hairpin. Blackstock and Rosny moved across too late and the pair touched, but surprisingly it was Laurie and Hughes who came off worse from the contact as they ran wide and the number 95 cut back up the inside to repay the compliment for 6th once again. Still evidently faster, it became only a matter of time before Laurie and Hughes found a way through, and they were back past by the end of lap 4. This time it was a bold move down the inside into the Zeppelin curve, halting their opponent's momentum coming onto the start-finish straight. But Blackstock and Rosny weren't done just yet, and were the faster duo in a straight line, approaching the 200 km/h mark through the speed trap and pulling back alongside down into turn 1. Laurie and Hughes commanded the racing line and the position from there. France's 2 racing side teams extended their one-off wildcard appearance from their home round to take part in Oschersleben, but the lead team of Leblanc and Piquoin again had a challenging race, retiring on lap 4. Meanwhile, Blackstock and Rosny's part in the action and their fall through the field continued as Kimswenger and Lenert swept around the outside for 7th. The number 11 outfit retired after the opening lap in Le Mans, but showed greater promise in Germany. Streuer and de Haas eventually finished 7 seconds back from the podium, almost 2 seconds from the single lap pace of Holden and Wilkes, but more consistent through the duration of the 12 laps. Päivärinta and Kainalainen rode an isolated race for second, 10 seconds back from Ben and Tom Birchall, but almost half a minute clear of their nearest rivals behind. Unlike in their dominant victory in Le Mans, the Birchall Racing Yamaha was forced to work somewhat harder in Oschersleben, Päivärinta and Kainalainen averaging just 1 km/h less than the race winners in the 12-lap sprint. In the second half of the race, the main fight that developed was for 5th. Grabmüller and Kirchhofer had opened a significant margin while Laurie and Hughes had been trapped behind Blackstock and Rosny. But once released, the number 72 outfit came soaring after the 97, finally picking them off on the last turn to take 5th position in the run down to the line. A forceful but successful move to make up a point in the overall championship squabble for 4th. Another oil leak for Holden and Wilkes' Silicon Barnes racing machine had made grip challenging to find on the racing line for all of the teams, but had no real impact on the eventual result. After a first race retirement, the number 3 outfit finally had some luck on their side as they made it to the finish, moving up through the championship standings in the process. The top 4 positions were all settled on the opening lap, but Päivärinta and Kainalainen put in a much more competitive race in Oschersleben than at the opening round. Team Streuer over 30 seconds further back and off the podium.
We came here hoping to get on the podium. At Le Mans we qualified 2nd and we were running at a good pace. This track's a bit more technical, so we're just learning it a little bit. And we've had a few issues. We had our main engine failed on free practice. So we've just been a bit on the back foot, but yeah, it was good. We were quite happy with that 3rd and we were well in front of the 4th place man, so yeah, good.
It was a problem-free race. The track is okay and so was the bike, but we need a lot more practice to work on the setup of the chassis. The main problem for us is that Birchall is very fast, but at least this time I could see them for the whole race. In Le Mans they disappeared, but now I am within a second a lap of them, so we'll keep training and fight with them later.
It's the whole package, it's the team, the machine, the sponsors behind us that help us do this, and it's in its 2nd year and it's going really well. But the guys are catching up, you know, Pekka can catch us and get to us, I'm sure of it, and so with John and Benny. We have the head start a little bit, I think, but I'm not sitting back on my laurels thinking it's going to be like this all year. I'm sure that the fight will come.
After the first 2 races of the season, 2 separate fights appear to have emerged. A battle for top spot between Birchall Racing and 44 Racing, and 5 teams separated by 13 points from 3rd. A first finish of the season for Holden and Wilkes moved them to 7th in the standings, directly behind two of the other British outfits, but with a clear pace advantage. The other two podium positions a repeat of Le Mans. With Holden and Wilkes showing podium pace on their first point-scoring ride of the season, the closest fight was behind them over 4th position. Missing out on that battle were Grabmuller and Kirchhofer, who ended up taking 6th after a last-bend move from Laurie and Hughes. We've made some changes to the chassis and now it is better, so we hope we can be faster today. Streuer and de Haas were also hoping for improvement, having dropped 21 points behind the championship leaders Benetton Birchall after just 2 races in 2017. Holden, Pijverinter and Birchall have been much quicker than us, so I hope we can improve. With a bit of luck, we found the problem with the engine, and if that's okay, I can hopefully beat Holden and take a podium. Starting positions for the gold race are based on qualifying and therefore match those of the sprint race, and that meant a 3rd successive pole position slot for Benetton Birchall. Streuer and de Haas left making their way through from the 2nd row of the grid for a 2nd time. The outfits embarked on the longest race distance of the season so far. A slow start from pole position briefly dropped favourites Benetton Birchall as far as 4th, with Streuer and de Haas making the best break from the 2nd row and coming through to 2nd. But Birchall Racing had already started to recover in the drag race to the first turn, scything back through onto the tail of Pijverinter and Kainalainen. Meanwhile, after a strong qualifying, Bachmeier and Deely quickly lost positions as they had in the sprint race. Kimswenger and Lennertz and Rems Racing through on the inside of the hotel complex. And Benetton Birchall recovered the lead as swiftly as they'd lost it, relegating Pijverinter and Kainalainen back to 2nd. Holden and Wilkes were also on the move, and having been faster than Team Streuer in the first 2 races of the season, looked for a way past into 3rd. Through the triple and up towards the Amman turn, the Silicon Barnes Racing team closed on their rivals, putting themselves in the perfect position to overtake. And just as they had done in the sprint race, Holden and Wilkes came through for 3rd position before the end of the first lap to replicate the rankings from the sprint race in the gold race. From there, the top 3 positions were settled, albeit with Benetton Birchall kept honest by Pijverinter and Kainalainen's efforts from P2. And a race developed for 4th, Laurie and Hughes having made a stronger start in the gold race and the closest they had been to the leaders in 2017, on the tail of 2015 world champions Team Streuer. The battle was joined by Grabmuller and Kirchhofer charging through down the inside of Laurie and Hughes into lap 3, and it was another 7 laps before the British duo could respond. In the meanwhile, Grabmuller and Kirchhofer went off in pursuit of Streuer and de Haas, who failed to match Pijverinter and Kainalainen's improvement since the first round and never looked likely to make the podium. The fight for pride and points in the lower reaches of the lineup saw Remps and Shorter making their 2017 debut at the 2nd round of the campaign, holding off Bachmeier and Deely with a disappointing Rutz and Hershey in tow. Having finished at the back following first lap contact in the sprint race, and on the back of retirement at the opening round, the number 22 outfit was keen for a clean race, but that didn't stop them from chasing position and eventually getting the better of the number 55 Remps Racing for 10th. Streuer and de Haas remained under considerable pressure from Grabmuller and Kirchhofer, but the Austrians were unable to find a way past, and as their tyres went off, they started to be held back into the clutches of Laurie and Hughes. The British duo cut past down the inside through the Zeppelin curve, starting a duel that saw the pair swap positions on half a dozen occasions in the second half of the race. Grabmuller and Kirchhofer appeared to have the straight line speed advantage and scythed back past across the start-finish line, only for Laurie and Hughes to immediately respond on the first turn. And while the two outfits fought over 5th, Streuer and de Haas escaped away ahead for 4th. With Within a lap, Laurie and Hughes were back on the tail of Streuer and De Haas and already thinking about their best finish of the season if they could pass the Dutch pair. But running wide through lap traffic cost them a chance to make it through, and they never recovered. It also enabled Grabmuller and Kirchhofer to make yet another manoeuvre, moving back into 5th position. Further back, Bachmeier and Deely looked set for their best result of the campaign, with continued progress through the field, moving on to the tail of Leblanc and Farnier and through for 8th position. With Streuer and De Haas now 3 seconds clear, it looked increasingly as though the closest battle in the remainder of the race would be for 5th. Laurie and Hughes came through yet again down the inside on the Zeppelin curve to take the place. And this time, Grabmuller and Kirchhofer were unable to make a home straight response. Team SLR, who had finished 5th in each of the opening 2 races of their 2017 comeback campaign, were never far enough clear of Grabmuller and Kirchhofer for comfort and eventually lost the duel. Running wide through the triple on lap 14 was a key moment as they conceded position and an opportunity to break clear. And it was some well-deserved consolation for Grabmuller and Kirchhofer after their last bend defeat in the sprint race. Former world number 6 Team Rutz had a disappointing weekend in Oschersleben, but did exercise some damage limitation in the closing stages of the race, moving into the top 10 at the expense of Remps and Shorter, having run just 1 place from the back of the pack in the early stages. Rutz and Hershey moved well clear of the number 55 outfit after making the pass and closed on Leblanc and Farnier, falling only narrowly short of 9th. Streuer and De Haas were left an alarming 25 seconds back from Holden and Wilkes in the gold race as the number 3 outfit found almost half a second a lap on their direct rivals from 3rd in the championship. Meanwhile, Päivärinta and Kainalainen barely saw another outfit after the first lap. Virtual Racing Team finding another second in a single lap pace and taking victory by a near 30-second margin. Another victory for Ben and Tom Birchall means they haven't been beaten in any of their last 12 international races, having taken the F2 World Trophy undefeated in 2016 and already well on their way to the 2017 World Championship. A 27-second margin at the checkered flag demonstrated a pace advantage of over a second a lap to their nearest rival. Yet another dominant display.
I try full, no chance off. He will go. Yeah. Good job.
The top 4 positions in the gold race matched the sprint race results, but there were closer fights further back through the order. 4th to 6th positions were covered by less than 10 seconds at the checkered flag, the last of the runners on the lead lap.
Yeah, for us it was a bit steady. We wanted to go with Pekka and Kersey, but we lost out a bit on the start, got behind Benny Streuer, and we just lost the toe. I was hoping to be able to tag on to Pekka, but it just didn't happen. But we had a good race, 20 solid laps, and brought it home in 3rd. It's good.
The race was okay. We're happy with 2nd place, but it was a little bit boring. I would have preferred a fight. It was a long race, so we had more time to learn how the 600 should be ridden, and so it was a successful test day.
It was good. It's a tough circuit, you know. It's very busy for the driver and the passenger, so 20 laps is a long race, but the bike was great. The team worked really well to get it ready, and again the engine was real good, and yeah, perfect end.
Successive podium finishes in Oschersleben move Holden and Wilkes into 5th position and to within 10 points of Streuer and De Haas in 3rd, which must be their realistic championship target. Birchall Racing and 44 Racing already look out of reach for the chasing pack. The top 2 unchanged in each of the opening 3 races of the 2017 campaign.